All right, today we're going to be taking a little mental exercise in game design, in revisionist ability, in hindsight. Is always 2020 now. Strap your ass in and get ready to explore. What if your main man remade Vampire the Masquerade? Now, first of all, the first thing right off the bat, you slash the anarchs. Completely and totally useless on any sort of broad scale. They clash with the Sabbat, they create confusion, and are difficult to work in. You have a natural group of dissenters from any organization to segregate and separate them in such a fashion. Absolutely not necessary. Now let's go through real quick and design our sects. Now the Sabbat needs to be completely changed around. Quite honestly, the whole idea of the Sabbat, like my buddy Matt and I were talking about, and you can check him out with the Gentleman Gamer. There you go. I gave your bitch ass a plug, you gold elf. So before you go swashbuckling your way over to Arcadia, the groups in it, your sects, you have your Sabbat. You got to rework them. And they try to from the beginning to the end. If you read the books, I mean, there's very different things. I quite honestly never thought the Sabbat were a good concept or idea, and not in its execution either. It's sort of a bunch of things thrown together. I definitely felt a good bit rushed to me, and I've had a little inside tip that it kind of was. So you have the Camarilla, which is excellently done. Here's the reason most people that don't like Camarilla games don't like Camarilla games. Camarilla games are extraordinarily hard to run. Sabbat games are fucking D&D, man. It's the same D&D principle. We're a pack, adventuring party, and you go out there and you kill stuff all the time, and you dabbler it down and get the disciplines and so forth. It's very Dungeons and Dragons style. The Camarilla is not at all. It's a wonderful game of politics, and this is difficult for a lot of people to play, and way more difficult for most people to run. I'm going to go out on an extremely enormous limb that is larger than all things that exist combined. I'd say the majority of Camarilla games that have ever been run are utter trash. And the problem is they're difficult for people to get a firm foot on. However, listen to your main man expound upon how to run a Camarilla game. I understand the way and tact to bring that about, who have unbelievable success and impress your players to the point that they harass you for the next fucking decade to keep running, so forth. And it works wonderfully. It's a wonderful design for a game. Mark Reinhagen hit it completely out of the park with the design for the original Vampire the Masquerade. Of course, he just designed certain clans. It's like boom, 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 clans, disciplines, okay, boom. So here's the problem you have though. When you start stacking them all together, once you have a 7, if you're going with number 13, you have 7 hard slotted in. The other clans weren't made. Maybe some abstract ideas, but they weren't made to the degree that they came out with in the publications later. These publications came out later. Okay. So if we look back, we find pieces that just seem rough and confusing. Why are they here? Why are they there? Why are they there? Okay. First of all, let's start off with the Camarilla. On Team Camarilla, we pick Ventru! Yay! Get your bitch ass down here, Ventru. Okay. Number 2 pick on the Camarilla is La Sombra. Yes, La Sombra. No idea why you were playing for Team Sabbat. Makes no kind of sense at all. The La Sombra were the perfect foils. If you run a Dark Ages game of Vampire, the first time I played in a Dark Ages game of Vampire, I played it in the same game, the same character, from Mortal to Ghoul to Vampire. 4 years that game lasted. Played a long time, a lot of sessions, a lot of years went by. So, I know a lot. I've run Vampire in the Dark Ages. And I was like, whoa, this is so liberating. And things locked up. They made sense. Because we saw the clans without this artificial distraction. La Sombra play the foils to the Ventru perfectly. They're also extraordinarily Camarilla-ish. There is nothing Sabbat-like about La Sombra. They are not rebels. They don't rebel against things. They don't have a problem being part of the status quo structure. La Sombra definitely in the Camarilla. And you get that natural friction, that you saw with other clans in there. We're going to go to number 3 on the Camarilla, the Clan of the Rose. That's right for you, Matt. You have the Toreador. And of course, we all know Matthew was a Toreador harpy in disguise as a human RPG brigade member. Now, the Toreador kind of get overshadowed by the Bruja. The Bruja are too far left. There's no degree really of conservative aspect to them as a whole. Not to say that some aren't. Not to say you wouldn't still have in my model here some members that are Bruja of the Camarilla. But the Bruja, not on this list. Toreador, you have them there. Their left-leaning idealism becomes far more pronounced. You do more with the clan. You have more concepts. They make more sense. Toreador do not want to rip things down and destroy them. They want to preserve. They want to elevate. And that's not really what you do inside the Sabbat, particularly not in the model that we're going to produce and present here. Now remember, take all these sort of ideas, and remember, even though you have a meta plot, that doesn't mean you need to use the meta plot of the game. Some of it in White Wolf is great. Some of it is atrocious. And a lot of it falls in the middle. And it may not be great for your tools, for your game, to execute those. Use what you need. And remember, no matter what you do, always make sure you Dabblerize Theo Bell to be just like your main man. Now, Theo Bell Dabblery aside, when you're looking at these clans, you want to bring out a structure that can be believed, that can be useful. So let's go down to the next line. All right, we don't have Giovanni. Giovanni, you could have them as a bloodline. You could have them as a part. You could just have them as general old members of the Cappadocians. Let's see, Giovanni were created before Cappadocians, and it comes out, problematic. If you look at the Book of Nod, they talk about the Giovanni in there. It's like, oh, wait a minute. That doesn't seem likely to have been in the Book of Nod. God damn, they had some pretty good powers of precognition there. So, playing again, and I played a Cappadocian for 4 years. I know a lot about them. The Cappadocians work so much better. And if you go, hey, just sit there, no, shut your mouth. They play wonderfully into the Camarilla power structure. And they were great Seducels for the Venture. They tagged up with the Venture, which the Venture needed because they have so many people kind of against them. So to have a real loyal Peller under them brings about the Camarilla in a way that becomes so much more believable. Okay, why do the Venture have this power structure? Well, they have another clan that's heavily supporting them. Often in Camarilla games, it's like, everyone knocking the Venture's legs out. Why are the Venture still ruling? So it's a problem there. Next on the list, Nosferatu, who often are overlooked and thrown to the side like Venture, treat them like trash. No! Venture are not stupid. I don't like playing Venture. I think they're mundane and boring, but they're not stupid. The information brokers, the people that know everything, the lurking shadow that watches, you do not disrespect or abuse him. That is a great way to end up dead. Because not only can the shadow watch and listen, but it has potence. It'll rip your fucking head off and have an army of rats soar over you. That's right. Run a mock combat with a Nosferatu, and then act like you don't respect them anymore. Animalism and potence are two of the most underrated, underappreciated disciplines. And when used together with that sneak attack that Obfuscate provides you and information on every little nook and cranny of your adversary's defenses, oh boy, they're dead. So you bring the Nosferatu and you use them like that. They're definitely part of the Camarilla. They are part of the power structure. They don't want change. Okay, so we have them there. Now, let's look at the clans that I kept. Well, let's look at the Sabbat first, because you're going to be able to figure them out anyway. And that's really the meaty part here that you want to hear about, isn't it? We both know that it is. All right, first clan right off the bat. We already tipped our hats on this one. Clan Bruja. In the Inception story, we have so much about the Bruja, and then the Somber come in for no apparent reason with Clan Jealousy. What? No, of course not. Of course not either of those clans. Bruja leads the Sabbat. We rebel with iron anger against the tyranny of the White Castle of the Ventrue. Cannot have it be like that. It must be better. Old grudges must be avenged. Elders must be ripped apart, for they are too complacent. They are too calm. They forget themselves, and soon they will be forgotten. Even going into the canon where you have true Bruja and things of that nature, you have this aspect of dabblery. Sabbat or dabblerist! Of course the Bruja make every world of sense with the Sabbat. Who do we have number 2 in that hot tag in the triple threat with the Bruja? Of course it's the Malkavians. Malkavians, under the best of times, can certainly pass under a stringent rule of a prince. They can uphold a masquerade. But the ones that are a little bit more crazy Sometimes it's a little bit hard. Sometimes you get a little more upset. And the same thing with the bourgeois. They get upset. They have passion. They have frenzy. You know what happens when you frenzy? Fangs come out. You start ripping people apart. You know what that is? It's fucking breaking the Masquerade and the Sabbat style. And a more natural, realistic Sabbat style. Oh shit! We fucked them or broke the Masquerade. Oh well. Fuck it. Leave it on the Camarella's doorstep. Leave it to them. Not that they want to, but if they do, fuck it. That's a much better approach to take with that. Otherwise, look, your Sabbat are just going to get annihilated. Vampires die like that to a lot of things. Vampires are very, 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 very flawed up and susceptible to getting killed. You got witch hunters, wizards, and fucking werewolves that'll come and sort that ass out directly and indiscriminately. So you gotta mind your P's and Q's a little bit. Okay, so we have the Malkavians. The insanity of them often causes them to be the second-class citizens. And overall, in your typical game that I think is run in the theme and the realism of the World of Darkness, I don't think Nosferatu get knocked into the second-class citizen role. I think Malkavians, however, do, and I think they're going to be resentful of that. They have all this mental power and capacity. Still, looked on a little bit off and shown some large degree of disrespect. And in the Sabbat, that's not necessarily a thing because they can allow that insanity to just fester and wipe out. And if you look at a Malkavian anti-tribute and a Malkavian, boy, that Malkavian anti-tribute sure seems a hell of a lot more like a Malkavian than the tame pet Malkavian does. I think Malkavians overall, again, you could say, oh, there might be a few in the Camarilla, this and that. You're anti-tribute. Let's not get into that, though. Let's see where the clan overall is going to be at its best. Malkavians and Bourgeois in the Sabbat. You have a great thing. I mean, go get a couple of mental patients and let them loose on the street and see what the fuck starts happening. Malkavians shouldn't ever be this funny. I have, what do they call them? Rabbit shoes and shit like that. They're fucking disturbed individuals. And disturbed individuals belong in the Sabbat. If you allow all your slashers, right? Every single slasher is fucking Malkavian. Michael Myers, Malkavian, through and through. So, you think about those kind of guys for a minute. You understand? They're not like a Cesar Romero Joker. They're I have a machete and a bunch of dead bodies out there. I don't even embrace yet. So what's going on? That's the kind of deal you got with the Malkavian. Now, who do we have again? Who did we not have in the Camarilla? The Tremere! The Tremere make no fucking sense in the Camarilla. The Tremere were so bad in the Camarilla that they skew the whole thing off in a way that writes a lot of else what's going to be in the Camarilla. Overall, no, I don't believe them. Yeah, there are a few things here and there. I don't want to get into the whole history. I know it, so don't go, but this, that. No. No, son. Look, we're talking about a game design point and putting things really where they belong. The Tremere are a clan of fucking wizards that are dabblers. They wouldn't dabblerize someone else's antediluvian. Sabbat. Big, giant red Sabbat stamp. That never felt right in the Camarilla. And this models are completely useless in the Camarilla. You have the Lasombra right in there, taking everything that they possessed and everything the Bourgeois possessed. So you don't need that kind of double up hit. Sometimes when you have less, you have more. And the Lasombra make all the sense in the world in the Camarilla. The Tremere make all the sense in the world in the Sabbat. They practice wizardry openly. That is breaking the Masquerade when that shit works. Like, here, give me your blood. Legend of Case. Oh, my blood! They have a lot of powers. They can definitely be a good bit questionable. And just that overall mindset of, we were wizards and we stole and basically raped someone out of vampirism and then went and murdered and then cannibalized somebody else. This makes all the world of sense in the Sabbat. They're gritty and vicious and horrible monsters. They're just so greedy for power, so desirous that they sloughed off the mortal form for immortality and took it. The Tremere being a full Tremere clan in the Sabbat with the Bourgeois and the Malkavians. Oh, my Sabbat be looking scary as fuck now, son. Believe that. You have insanity. You have unbridled rage and desire and idealistic fury. Go up against somebody who believes 1,000% in their nugget that they are right and you are wrong and you have wronged them. They're terrifying. And you couple that with not being able to control themselves. Bad. And they have celerity and potence. Let's not forget that. Now, when you add that complete desire, that sadistic Tremere aspect of needing the domination, desiring blood, desiring strength, desiring to wipe out the elders. Because after all, these elders are the enemies to Clan Tremere. There are no Tremere that are more than, say, about 1,000 years old. Maybe just over in our time now. So the elders, the real true elders, the antediluvians, the things that Tremere fight against, they want to wipe every single one of them out. Because the Tremere himself wants to be the most powerful. Gortrix wants to be powerful. They want this power. You understand? That's what they're about. That's what the Sabbat is about. It's hand in glove. It doesn't even make sense to them really in the Camarilla. It's a stretch. And it is a stretch because they were put there before you had these other vehicles to express them through. That's, after all, where you had these things. Okay, now, in the Sabbat, the Bruja are the leaders. The Tremere are the hand inside the glove. The Tremere are your shadow lords. They're puppeting things from behind the strings, from behind the scenes with the strings. The Malkavians may be doing some of that as well, maybe doing some leading, and then we have other ones that are out here that are not necessarily political, but happy to have the freedom the Sabbat promises to them, and allowing them to express their dark passions into the world and to be uninhibited. Now, when we look at the independent clans. Now, first of all, I would tell you this right in the mat. I would slash Assamites, and we would have 12 clans. But let's just say, and in my world, I'm probably saying the Assamites are the ones that got diablerized by the Tremere, and I'm going to bring the Salubri in. In fact, I'm just changing it up. I had Assamites independent. Fuck Assamites. Assamites get eaten, and we bring the Salubri in. Think about the Salubri as if they had never been diablerized, and they were out there. They were doing a deal. And they can be very interesting. There's so much we could do with Salubri. If we don't have that, well, the Salubri are this, and they're getting hunted. No. Let's just leave them alone and put them right there as an independent group. Now, also, as an independent group, is going to be the Jemisse. Now, vicissitude is one hell of a badass, cool discipline. I like the Black Hand book talking about, it's a disease of a spiritual, demonic nature that infests you. Or you could just say, it's a power. But I tell you this, I think the power is extremely cool. I do not think it is in any way thematically appropriate to Vampire the Masquerade. Remember, you're supposed to be passing off. It's supposed to be our world. It's supposed to be like, it's just this world, right? And you might say, things are darker, grittier in the world of darkness, but it's supposed to be our world. And it's supposed to be, the real horror of the game is this is the shit going on that we don't know about. And then you have vicissitude. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work. It is a Grand Canyon of Masquerade breaching. The war ghouls, all this stuff is cool ideas. I like it. I like the Jemisse. I think vicissitude is one of the best, most interesting disciplines. Slashed. Gone. It's all done. It's gone. The Jemisse, the old clan style Jemisse, the Count Dracula style type of individuals, so interesting, so much you can do with that. That's where we plug the Jemisse in. That's how we use them. They're apart. They're apolitical, but political and strong in their own domains. So we bring up to clan Gangrel. Now, Gangrel, Ravnos is a bloodline of Gangrel. Never has any clan more readily screamed to make me a bloodline. In the original write-up of the Gangrel, they even write about how the Gangrel have these ties to the Gypsies. Ravnos, fucking bloodline. There's nothing clannish about them, even down to their disciplines. It's like, they have Gangrel disciplines in chemistry. Bloodline. They are flat out plain and simple a bloodline. They're a clan that, by its very nature, would have to be small, would have to be insular, would have to be a bloodline. I can think of numerous bloodlines that would come up and take that place better. And we're going to get to number 12 here. Where do we put them? Setites. Of course, Setites are going to be independent. We have to keep Setites. Setites are one of the most perfectly executed of the independent clans. They were great, excellent, marvelous, like 9.8 out of 10 job. Love the Setites. Now, we took a clan out, and we have 13 clans. We knocked the Assamites out too, but replaced them with the Salubri. Wonder what we're going to have take the place of Clan Ravnos. That's right. Type it in right now and see if you were right. And if you've been watching any, if you watch 3 seconds of one of my videos, you ought to know who gets to be a clan in your main man's revisiting of writing up Vampire the Masquerade. Okay. The bloodline, formerly known as Bali, we are making them a clan. All the damn way a clan. In fact, I would have even gone so far as to say, well, not only are the Bali a clan, right? But they're from I would make the Salubri and the Bali antediluvian the same not antediluvian, a second generation, the same second generation. They would both come up from that same line, and they would be the only two. So they would have that genealogy, and I would tighten up more on like, okay, who came from what second gen? I think there was really 3 2nd gens. So who came from which one? Why? How was the whole thing done? And really mythologize that stuff out to a greater degree than was done in the game. I thought they did a very good job of hinting, of ebbing at ideas, but it wasn't across the board. It was some here, some there, some there. And some are just wonderful. Like Nosferatu's mythology in the game is like top shelf. And Adventures is like, but there's more that can be done. There's more that can be fleshed out. But those are entire videos in and of themselves. But absolutely, Bali would be a clan. They have so much richness and texture. I mean, God, the Ravnos get a clan. Are you kidding me? Ravnos are a bloodline. Even if you wanted to use Assamites, I could say they were Doblerites, but maybe you leave some Assamites around. And then I think that makes them far more interesting because they're like the wandering assassins. They're like, well, yes, I will be your assassin because, instead of, well, I need blood in this, you're like, can you keep me safe? I'll kill for you. It's like that dude in prison. He's like, I'll kill for you. But shit, I need somebody to keep me safe. Shit, it'd be Tremere out there and they'd be eating dudes. I'm not even trying to mess with that. And then it could give the Assamite a completely different nature. We make them over. And make the Assamite say, well, yes, we would never Dabblerize anyone. That's disgusting. That's how we ended up in this fate. Imagine that, Assamites that are so abhorrent by Dabbleries. And maybe they're out there like trying to learn Auspex so they can find Dabbleries and kill them. They're like, oh, you're a Dabblerist. And maybe their word for Tremere and Dabblerist is the same thing. Right off the bat, boom, we have elements working together. We took something away from the Assamites and made them interesting. God knows that's hard, but all of a sudden, they don't have this weird, rigid structure that you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. It's this, and that's what people want as an Assamite. That is what you want. This wandering guy out there on his own that has, a real chip on his shoulder, but he's afraid. He's afraid that the world is combing in on him and is going to get his ass. There we have something, right? So, and I might expand on that in a video. I don't know if you guys want to see more about that. But that's how we do it. That's how we take each of those and we segregate them out. We get rid of vicissitude. And each clan has its own special discipline. I'd probably reconfigure the disciplines around so that each clan had their own. They'd be like their hallmark discipline. The clans that didn't have hallmark disciplines, man, it just made them look kind of butt. It's like, I'm a Venturer, a Toreador, or in the original edition, I'm Alcavian because they didn't have the mutation. It just seems like, once you started, like, and after that, right, every clan had this unique discipline. They all had it. Ravnos had it. Assamites had it. Jimisi had it. Whoever, everybody had it. So, I would give a unique discipline. Even if I had to write them out, I don't know how to do. It's not that hard to write that discipline. It's like 5 freaking powers, I could say, no, dude, you ain't playing no damn 4th generation vampire in my game. That's not going down. So write out like 5 powers, or take some powers from some of the bloodlines I don't use. Some of the bloodlines were kind of hokey and not useful. I wouldn't use a whole lot of bloodlines, just a few. Like a Ravnos, like I said. And overall, so that is my list of the 13 clans, how I present them, how I present the sects, and overall, adding a bit more mythology to the base of it, making things a bit murkier, but at the same time, a larger pool of information to draw on. I think they did a great start there, but I think that element of the game could have a lot more added to it, and it would be the sort of thing that I would like to see in a Vampire, the Masquerade. Like if you had a reboot, you see what I'm saying? That's the beginning, the very beginning, how I would reboot the series of Vampire the Masquerade and kind of bring it all together in a way that was fresh and entertaining. Let me know what you think of my rankings of these groups. Let me know how you would rank them. Feel free to hit back with a video response if you want. Feel free to, if you need to leave 13 comments, that's fine, dude. I don't mind. I'm not going to be like, oh, you left 13 comments. It's fine. Leave however many you want. They give you 18 characters per comment, so sometimes you need to leave a few. So let me know what you think about this list and what you think about overall bringing the clans and putting them in different orders and so forth, and what you would like to do, if you will, maybe.